And so I want Coca-Cola on my page. I want Coca-Cola to only promote on my page. So then Coca-Cola pays me a percentage if I have, say, like 500 followers, 1,000 followers.
I was talking about this like an hour ago, and it's this whole concept, and I was saying that I was talking about how Facebook sold a percentage, or an investor at Facebook sold a percentage of like 17% of their stake inside of Facebook for like $516 million. So it valued Facebook now at like $35 billion. But what I was saying was that I think that they're waiting to build up to maybe $100 billion in value, and then go public, so they can be bigger than Google, which I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's why Google's trying to buy Groupon and all these other companies to try to feed some growth, right? But the point I was getting at was Facebook now, because they have the people, they at some point soon they'll almost have half the people in the world, right? So at that point, they have the ability to where they say, you know what, just go to fb.com, and each person say, you know, okay, well, I want to control who's around me, just like you said.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have 3 or 4 slots, and then they just handpick, and it can literally be Google AdSense, but for people. And the brand, and the thing is this: every time they do make a move on it, they can get paid.
Exactly, the user.
So it ties the user.
Exactly.
So it has a benefit for the user to advertise your brand. So yeah, it was basically saying that everybody is going to turn into a NASCAR participant.
Yeah.
So like instead of like Jeff Gordon, it's just Matt Barnes and Mark Hill. So I like Coke and I like you know,
Nike, McDonald's.
right, whatever brand. Everyone knows I eat McDonald's religiously, so I'm a McDonald's fan. But I should be compensated for that because I've eaten I don't know how many value
I put
meals
so
or whatever.
much money in your pocket. How come
right.
you can't do that?
But think about this though. But when people say like marketing, experiential marketing companies get brand ambassadors who are just like somebody who they pay $20 an hour to go talk for 4 hours about McDonald's. But if they pay me, I do this for a living. I go to McDonald's all the time. And people know that. And if I'm in my Twitter, if I'm in my stream, Facebook anyway, I could just snap pics of me doing that.
Yeah.
And pay me for being your representative.
Checking in
what
on
it basically
Foursquare.
and what it kind of does is actually takes a lot of value out of marketing companies because it's like this is the most ultimate marketing ever. It's the person. Like it's Mark Hill, it's Elijah Young, it's Matt Barnes. Oh, that's it. Like
Then you celebritize. Then you're like you celebritize a marketeer basically.
Right. But the great thing about that is they're a regular person. So it's like, and it makes someone actually become more of a brand ambassador because now they know the world's watching what I eat at McDonald's.
Yeah.
So my change could make a change in the entire McDonald's menu because me and 10,000 people like me are doing it. It's like Nielsen rating system, but for real people.
Yeah.
And each person really dictates what they want. So, because you ever, like, I was thinking about that the other day about Nielsen. Like, I've never had a Nielsen box in my house, and a lot of people I know have them. So it kind of makes it to the point where it's the rating system for regular life and like businesses. Every person is their own brand ambassador. And it just creates an incredible situation for each brand to have a real. When people like even get on Twitter and Facebook to say I have a connection with a brand.
Yeah.
But this is a real thing. I pick who I want, so it's like you have to pick so many set of advertisers.
You can't stop it. Like I cannot block out billboards. I can't block out bus stop signs. I can't block out newspapers. Any of that kind of thing. It's like it's always there. Something of some form of imagery or some form of like symbol or logo is in my face constantly. I want to be able to select that. And as far as like mobile technology is going now, it's like you're going to be getting text messages and buzzes when you walk by places. I don't want that unless I selected it. Unless I want to be able to go to a website and say, I want a paper mailer every week based on basketball scores, gas prices locally, and the best cheeseburger in town.
It's a complete opt-in life.
Yeah, exactly.
Like completely opt-in of everything you want.
You can't get away from being marketed to. I mean, nobody can, and there's no way like. People trying to avoid it. I've seen things like there's like Blackout. There's a site I think you can get. It's called Blacker, like Flickr, but with just the R. And when you use it, it just gives you the content on the website and blocks out all other advertising on the website. There's one that can fill it up with other people's artwork, but you hand select what artwork you want to go in there. I would just much prefer to be able to go and select what I want to market.
Yeah. But you know what? The funny thing is, I think people would actually embrace it. Like, I don't think it would be a lot of fighting. Some people might not want to put something up, but more likely than not, because what you do all the time, you think how many people will put Starbucks right up there. I go to Starbucks all the time, bam, because they know that they're going to get direct discounts for actually promoting Starbucks. Now it's a real incentive for a person to actually be an advocate for that brand, because there's a direct correlation in real dollars, is real tangible, and the company sees a real ROI. So if I put this on my page, I walk into Starbucks and I get something, I could literally see, I could have an account, I have a Starbucks account, a cash account, maybe they put cash in, so I can use it for cash, credits, whatever. But smart brands are going to really literally pay their biggest people, because if they do, they're going to, all we're going to do is go back and spend it again. Think about it. If I
it's a whole give and take, right?
And for them, it's a super win, because all you're doing is paying people so they can come spend their money right back with you. It's rare someone's going to cash out and never mess with you again. It's not going to happen.
Right. Unless they have a bad brand experience.
Right.
Which, then that gives them an opportunity to show their, if someone does have a bad brand experience, then it gives them the ability to be the day saver, to come in and say, oh no, we've cleared this up, and then that builds more compassion and more like
it's real time PR too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's like a big thing online now for like reputation management. And the biggest reputation management is to call the person you had a problem. Like, hey Bob, like think about if you had a problem at Walmart and like an executive at Walmart called you and was like, hey, I saw you were at store such and such on such and such street, and this is the issue. They told me what's going on. How can we help you? How can we fix this? Because we know that you're, somebody who supported us for all this time. You could read it. You can see they've supported you for 5 years, 7 months, and 10 minutes.
That's a good point. I was watching a Domino's commercial the other day, and they were showing they did that game where they were having people send in the photograph of their pizza when it showed up, and then they would post those pictures on their website. So it was like creating some form of engagement. Someone got a pizza that was completely smushed, and it was all nasty. And they showed, this was on the television commercial, they showed this picture of this smashed pizza, and they're like, we had a problem with this will never happen again. It's like, don't say it's never going to happen again. Show how you eradicated that problem. Show how you communicated with that other person and said, we're sorry that you experienced bad service, here's 10 more free pizzas for you. Explain that to them. Don't just show the bad picture and say this will never happen again. You just exposed yourself as to what the problem was, and that it could potentially happen numerous times over, but you offered no solution. You just showed your own problem, but then didn't talk about how you eradicate it.
And the thing that's crazy is companies need to understand they're not showing any value until the customers, until something goes wrong. Because when something goes wrong and you fix it, people go crazy for it. Because that's when you really need them. Like I don't, it's the same thing like with car shops. Like, people only take their car when there's a problem. So if you can fix that right away, that's fine. But it's different than when someone is used to something always going right. So like if I go into a store and I'm used to everything going my way, and then one day I have a major problem, the way that I'm gonna love that store even more is if someone steps in right then and says and fixes it. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm really sold, because I know even if something goes wrong, I'm gonna tell them that. I'm gonna say, hey, I had a problem at the place, but they really worked it out. They took care of me. And it's the same thing. And now with technology, we can do that for every person. Literally, it's gonna need a team to do it. And smaller companies might not have the budget initially, but they do have the love of their business, because it's not a faceless brand. Like it can be. Even though McDonald's has the money to do it, it's the bureaucracy at the top that stops it. So like a Mojo's Lounge can do it because the owner's right here. Like the owner's only 20 minutes away from the facility at any moment. So you can talk to the owner, and think about it though, each owner had a direct phone line, and you could just tweet or call the owner like for specific issues. If there's a problem, everyone knows to call Jack at 555 whatever, and he actually picked up. And he was like, hey, what's going on? Hey, I have a problem. You know what? Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And then can you pass the phone to the hey, just take care of it, and we'll fix it. That would make things jump. That would go crazy, and people would go crazy for your brand.
Exactly. I think it's like, this whole thing of when social media came out, it was like businesses were trying to be more like people, and people were trying to be more like businesses or brands. And how businesses or brands can be more like people is to be compassionate, is to actually care about what people are saying, how they're saying it, and why, and then getting engaged in the conversation, and saying, here's what we stand for, here's what we do. You know, I watched this TED the other day. I can't remember who it was by, but it was like 3 questions about business. What is your business? Obviously, 100% of people can tell you what that is. How is your business? Like, how do you do it? How do you conduct it? And then, why is your business? And that they said the third question is the most important. Like, why is your business? Why do you do what you do? Do you have a mission? Or is it for a greater good? Or is it just to make money? Is it to push a product? To throw trash in the plastic? Or, you know, throw plastic in the trash? And I think that social media offers people that chance to be able to define their why a lot more. And they should really be thinking about why they're doing their business. Why is McDonald's serving cheeseburgers? You know, is it to feed people at an affordable price? Is it to raise money for the Ronald McDonald charity? You know, like, I think that's probably the most important question that any business can ask themselves. And social media obviously is leading people into that. And I think as a whole, I was just having this conversation with Chelsea over at Tazi. We were talking about like, if I'm out in public and somebody's got a camera, if we're at a party and we're hanging out, somebody has a camera, and I'm like, we're friends on Facebook, I hope that none of these pictures, or I hope that I don't do anything that's going to end up having my face on, or, you know, my image on Facebook. So it's making people a lot more accountable for their behavior, for their actions. So it's a tool that's helping guide people, like kind of like the carrot before the horse. You're thinking about your actions before you do them because of the image that it will leave behind. And I think that's why, you know, the internet, social media, it's all still in such an infant stage of development, because not a lot of people are grasping onto that concept. You know, they're like still acting like idiots. You know, like I heard a story of a school teacher or a guy that was applying for a job at a school, crushed the interview. The interviewers went to his Facebook profile page, and there he was smoking a ball. And they're like, "We can't hire you, dude." They're like, "You're a teacher. You're gonna be hanging out with kids. Like, that's completely inappropriate."
That's crazy, and that is costing a lot of people their jobs. And we're talking about that because we have a section.
1 in 4, I think.
Right, and we have a section called Social Media Gone Wild, and that fits right into it. So if you ever get stuff like that forwarded to us, because we have a whole section for that.
Okay.
And that's a big thing, but I don't know. That stuff is crazy, and it is like shaping how people like go about jobs. Because the first thing people do is check you either on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and really Facebook, and because they really want to see how you are with your people. So that went to our conversation earlier off camera about if you don't want anything bad on Facebook, don't post it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, best way to do that.